Hello and welcome to another episode of Your Future, Your Choice. Today we will be joined by Rachel Gogos, who is the founder and CEO of MyPath 101. I'm old school. I'm very old school. Anybody who knows me realizes that I'm a throwback. I'm from the dinosaur age where people did things on a one-on-one, face-to-face basis. A handshake was your bond, and what you told someone was absolutely nobody else's business to anyone else. My idea of social media is sitting at a bar with a bunch of friends watching a game. So you know what era that I come from. An application to me is something that you fill out when you're going for a job or applying for a mortgage. Today everything is automated, everything is online. An app, you can download anything from a game to a sporting event to banking to fitness to literally anything. You get information back and forth across the world, around the world in literally seconds, and everything is at your fingertip. It's a wonderful invention. Social media definitely has its place. It can also go too far. Like with anything, it has its pros and cons. The MyPath 101 app, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit later with Rachel Gogos, is something that is definitely a part of today's world. And what it does is it gives a roadmap, if you will, for high school students, college students, those looking for a career path. I had a chance to take a look at it. It is a wonderful application. Even someone like myself from the old school is able to navigate it very easily. It makes a lot of sense. It's laid out in a very, very easy to understand manner and easy to follow format. So stick with us, and we'll be right back with Rachel Gogos.
Judge Ron Arnone and Judge Guy Rushenthaler present The Darker Side of Technology with cybercrimes expert James Deal. Wednesday, September 24th, 7:30 p.m., Bethel Park High School Auditorium. For information on the event, you can go to Ron Arnone District Justice Facebook page, and you can learn more details about the event.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Rachel Gogos, who is the founder and CEO of MyPath 101 that is located here in McMurray, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Rachel, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, man.
Absolutely. Now, I looked on the website and it says MyPath 101 is an online app that helps you build a successful college experience, fulfilling career, and a vibrant life. So let me ask you the most basic question. What does that mean? What is MyPath 101?
The best way to describe MyPath 101 is it's a web app or a membership website.
Okay.
It focuses on 3 paths. The first one is on personal branding or identity development. The second one is on social media marketing. And the third is on career marketing. And I could tell you a little bit more about each path if you like.
Yeah, we'll definitely go into all of that. Now, is this... who's your target audience? Is it existing college students, high school students? Is it the person who is transitioning or maybe lost their job? Who is your target audience for this?
So our ideal market are high schoolers around 10th grade in high school on up through college. And so, the perfect client for us, if you will, is someone who buys MyPath either when they're a freshman in college or a sophomore in high school and they're trying to figure out where to go to college and want to find that right college fit, but then continue to renew their membership every year. Okay. Because all our content is really helpful to a student anytime between, say, the age of 18 to 25, or any time period that you're going through college, so regardless of age.
Okay. Now, you say you purchase it initially and then you can renew. Is it set up like modules, if you will,
Yes.
where one builds upon the other as you go through your college career or professional career or what have you? How does that work? Take me through that a little bit.
Yeah, it's exactly what we call them, modules, and there is over 60 modules once you have membership access. There's about 20 modules in each path. And
Okay.
so a lot of that content we continue to update, especially the social media path, because you can imagine there's new tools or
Sure.
Facebook changes or rules. So we always try to have the latest information on how to do what you need to build your reputation online.
Okay.
Another reason a student might continue to renew their membership is we offer monthly Q&A calls with the founding team.
Okay.
So if you're stuck on something, you can just dial into one of these monthly calls, and we also have a private Facebook group. So
Okay.
we also answer questions there. And then we're also going to start doing a live monthly webinar with an expert in another area.
Oh, okay.
So say you're studying a creative field and
Right.
your job search requirements might be a little bit different than a scientist or a biologist. Then we'll have an expert just around that particular topic.
Okay, and the webinars will be done monthly as well, or quarterly, or?
They'll be done monthly, and
Okay.
we'll be taping them. So if you miss a webinar, that's totally fine. You can still download the MP3 file and the video file
Oh, okay,
and check it out.
fantastic. That's awesome. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. You mentioned branding, so let's get a little bit into the nuts and bolts of that, because I know that's a big thing now.
Yes.
That's the catchphrase, and it's really nothing new.
Right.
For those like me who've been around for 100 years, it's been called so many different things, but it's all the same stuff.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about branding, what MyPath does specifically to help the person with branding.
So, while the concept of branding, like you said, has been around for so long, it's typically been applied to products or companies. So in this case, we apply it to people. And just like before you brand a product or a company, you really have to know the ethos and the fiber of what makes up that product or the company. Well, it's the same with personal branding. And so what you'll find on the back end of MyPath 101 is several modules that have open-ended questions to help you figure out what your values are, what your passions are, what your mission, your strengths, your purpose in life. So not only do we ask those open-ended questions, but we also give you exercises to help you figure out the answers to those questions.
Okay.
So while the questions seem really simple, it's actually not so easy to figure out the answer to some of those questions.
Sure.
Another neat feature about the tool is all your responses, you can type them right in to MyPath 101 and save your responses. So you can continue to come back to this and change them as you're learning more about yourself.
Okay.
And then you can also print your responses and take your responses into a meeting with an academic advisor or a career officer.
Now, is there, and I would think this is particularly true for the younger members, the high schoolers, even maybe freshmen, heck, maybe even seniors in college, who aren't really sure. I mean, they're answering the questions, but they're not really sure, what direction there is, how to brand themselves. With MyPath, I know it's an app, but is there also quote unquote counselor? Is there someone that they can actually speak to kind of help them through this if they need it?
Right, great question. Well, that's why we provide the Q&A calls. We will move them to weekly eventually. Right now they're just monthly, and that's also why we have the private Facebook group.
Okay.
But our goal, Manny, isn't to substitute the resources available in a high school or a campus. It's just to help the students better prepare for when they do go to those meetings with their actual in-person counselor.
Okay.
So we feel while we're providing all this information via the web and making it as personal as we can through other interaction, you still can't replace that in-person interaction, and you yourself probably know that, having the background you do.
Right.
But we just want to support and empower students and then support the staff that work at high schools and colleges.
It sounds like a fantastic concept. I wish I had that when I was going to school, and I could see where even a lot of the people that I work with, if they had this to kind of lay the foundation or do their homework
Right.
before they got to me and we actually sat down, it would save a ton of time.
Exactly.
So I could definitely see how this would be a great benefit to augment that. Now the calls, the conference calls, if you will, and even the webinars. Are you planning on setting those up as item specific, or is it going to be a free for all or a combination? Have you kind of thought about how that's going to be structured yet?
Definitely. Initially, the Q&A calls will just be Q&A calls. So
Okay.
we'll open up the phone lines, set a date and time for the call, and again, those will be taped. So if you can't make it,
Right.
And our feeling around that is we all learn from other people's questions,
Sure.
and then responses provided. The webinars will be specific around specific topics,
Okay.
so we'll market those in advance, and if the topic applies to you, great.
in.
If not, continue to keep an eye out, because we'll definitely cover a broad range of topics through those.
Okay, fantastic. That sounds excellent. That sounds excellent. Now the second portion of this, and you said it, and I forgot already, and I apologize.
That's okay.
What was the second portion?
The social media path.
Right. Talk to me a little bit about that and how that plays into this.
Sure. And there's before we go into that, can I just tell you one other really neat feature of
Absolutely.
the identity section?
Yes.
So around module 16 or 17, we have a module that's called Putting It All Together,
Okay.
Crafting Your Identity Profile. That identity profile document is a compilation of all your responses from the prior modules.
Okay.
So you'll end up with a 3 to 4 page document that can help guide your decision making and what college to attend.
A summation, if you will.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a summary, but it has all those lofty answers to those questions that can really guide you along your path in life, from career to where to live to the type of friends or maybe the type of programs or activities you want to get involved in campus.
Okay. And that's a key point. I'm glad you did bring that up, because that's what I'm finding is a lot of the people that I'm dealing with, and a lot of others in this industry are dealing with, yourself included, I'm sure, they're not putting the whole package together.
Right.
They're looking at one piece here or one piece there, and I think that's a lot of why we have such a disconnect between employers and potential employees. We're not properly matching the skills that are needed.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is exactly what you're saying, Rachel, is, people aren't looking at the big picture. Okay, what am I good at? What are my strengths? What do I like to do? Okay, based on that, and this is oversimplifying it, but based on that, how can I use that to get a career, to get paid for what I love? Now, based on that, what are the jobs that are relevant, that are in need of somebody with those skills?
Right.
You need to piece that all together. How much money do those jobs earn? And then what is the best school or the best avenue for me to get the skills that are needed by employers? And you need to put all that together, and it seems like My Path does it in a very concise way, which is fantastic, because that you hit it right on the head. That's what's lacking. People are not putting all that together. At least that's what I'm seeing.
Right.
They're just grabbing bits and pieces of it, and somewhere along the line there's a disconnect, and then that's how we're finding. Well, employers are screaming, we can't fill the jobs because we can't find qualified applicants.
Right.
And then you have a big pile of applicants. Well, I can't find a job. Let's put them together.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tools out there, right, that
Sure.
are job boards or assessments that can tell you, this might be the right job for you. So what we've tried to do with My Path 101 is create this holistic experience, right? So while we provide these questions, these open-ended questions that you can then type your responses into, we also provide links to a bunch of free assessments that already exist online that can help you respond and figure out answers to some of the questions you just brought up.
See, and what I love about what you're doing with My Path is it's giving the person a roadmap, because
Exactly.
It's the old story. Well, if I don't know what question to ask, how am I going to get the answers I need?
Right.
But you're providing that roadmap, and obviously not all questions are appropriate, but it's all there, and you pick out what you want. But you have that roadmap there, which I think initially is vital.
Yes,
because
exactly.
at least it's pointing you in the right direction, and then obviously as you go along you can refine it down and get more specific and what have you. But you're putting that roadmap in place. I think this is just wonderful. It's a wonderful application.
Thank you.
Now let's go transition into the second part,
Sure.
social media. And I must admit, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to social media. I rely on my children, partly because I don't understand it,
Right.
partly because I'm old school and I just can't be bothered with it. I'm from an era where anonymity is just so precious,
Right.
And I keep telling my kids and a lot of people, younger people,
Right.
you don't understand the power of anonymity, and they truly don't.
So true.
But I'm a throwback. Like I said, I'm a dinosaur. So talk to me a little bit about social media and how it's interacted with this.
Sure. So once you identify and clarify your brand
Okay.
in that first path, then the goal is to build your brand online. And so that's why we then provide the social media path.
Okay.
So half the modules in the social media path are all about removing any damaging content you may have placed about yourself, how to change privacy settings, how
Okay.
to clean up your online act. Because just like your generation appreciates anonymity, the young generation is living their lives
Sure.
online, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's selfies all over the place.
Yeah.
And they don't, and sometimes that demographic that we're focusing on, the 18 to 25 or the 15 to 25, doesn't always realize that some of the pictures they're posting might come back to haunt them later
Right.
on.
It's funny you say that, because one of the first things that I tell the people I work with is Google yourself
Yes.
and see what comes up. Now, if you can find that, the employer can find it as well, and believe me, they're doing it.
Right,
So
right.
exactly as you said, anything that's unflattering, get it off of there. And that's not even a guarantee that it's gone.
Right.
But at least you can do that much.
Yes, yes.
Now, do you focus primarily, of course, I guess the biggest is LinkedIn for business. But I guess Facebook. What are
Yes.
some of the other ones that you focus on?
Facebook, we have quite a bit of information on.
Okay.
We also focus on Twitter, Google+, Snapchat,
Okay.
Instagram, and that section of the website is the part we update the most frequently, just because new tools are introduced, every other week. There's a new social tool that kind of catches on
Sure.
with students.
Sure. Have you noticed? I know Facebook has gotten a lot of talk because I guess they changed their privacy
Right.
settings and things of that nature. Have you noticed in the people that you're working with, are they starting to, I don't know if shy away is the proper term, are they starting to think twice about how they're using social media on a professional level, or is it pretty much just, let's go all out and do what we do?
Right. I think, there are some students that are always thinking that way, right, about being careful about what to post, but then there's others who aren't. So regardless of what Facebook does,
Right. They're
they're
gonna do their
still
thing.
exactly, because it's also
Okay.
just a mode for students and
Sure.
young people to communicate and share their lives.
Okay.
The second half of that social media path is actually on how to build your online reputation.
Okay.
So then we talk about those same social media tools, but then actually give you suggestions on what to post to make yourself look desirable to a potential person who might be hiring you, or even admissions officers, because now admissions officers at universities and colleges are
Right.
starting to look at your online reputation before even
Right.
considering admitting you.
Okay, yeah, that I've seen that increase as well. One of the things I was in a discussion group, maybe 2 months ago,
Okay.
based on social media, and one of the things that seemed to dominate the topic was that you really didn't know who was posting the information, even though it was attributed to you. One of the things that came up was professional athletes. A lot of the professional athletes don't go on Facebook or whatever the social. They hire people to do that for them. So that was a concern, is they seem to be finding more and more that a lot of the information is not really reliable, and they're wondering if maybe that's going to start a trend,
Right.
at least on the professional level, of people not relying on that information as much. I don't know.
Right.
You know, I guess like with anything else, buyer beware.
Right.
You know, it's just one aspect that you look at. But I find that very interesting where, you know, is this picture real? Is that information real? Who put that on? You know, is that mine?
Right.
It just seems like, geez, you know, maybe we just need to sit down in front of each other and speak face to face, so I know I'm getting it from the horse's mouth.
Sure. But, you know, I would say with that, Manny, I think the responsibility lies with that individual because it's your reputation.
Sure.
So just like you wouldn't give your social security number out to somebody or your bank account number out to someone, you got to guard your own reputation. So if someone is a professional athlete or someone who doesn't have time to do their own posting on social media, you got to really be careful about who you allow to do that and give access to your accounts because they could really do damage.
And shame on you if you don't.
Right, exactly. We only have one reputation, right?
That's exactly right, and that's everything.
It's up to us to keep it intact.
Yep, that's everything. Now the third part of this is
career marketing.
Talk to me about that.
So again, a little over 20 modules in that section, and those range from how to conduct yourself online, so in terms of cyber etiquette and how to conduct a job search through tools like Twitter and LinkedIn, and then some of the basics like how to prepare a resume, how to create a video resume, the importance of thank you notes and other etiquette measures in real life, you know, if you will, not just the cyber ones.
Right.
So there's a range of modules in that section that are all about how to conduct yourself in a more professional manner.
Okay, fantastic. So literally you're taking this from cradle to grave.
Exactly.
And once they have the job, you're on your own, God bless you.
Right. Hopefully not quite the grave, but onto the path in life.
Exactly, exactly. Now, with the career aspect of it, do you have anything in there about or links to job growth over the next 10 to 20 years? You know, salaries, regional, national, whatever the case may be.
Definitely.
Is that a part of that as well?
Yes. In fact, some of the feedback we've gotten from students is how many resources they found out existed on the web through using MyPath 101.
Okay.
So we do have, you know, salary negotiation, links to articles on that, how to calculate your salary in various parts of the country. Again, some assessments that are just around career. So all types of things that already exist on the web. We didn't want to replicate what was out there, but we wanted to provide a clearinghouse of what was out there to the extent that we can.
So at least there's access to it. And again, a roadmap.
Exactly.
You're giving them a direction of, hey, you need to go here, think about this, this is where you're going to find it, and put it all together. Is there anything, and I apologize because I didn't look through the MyPath 101 probably as diligently as I should have. I glanced over it, but with school debt, you know, school debt right now is second only to mortgage debt. It's surpassed the $1 trillion mark. Do you tackle that in any way, or is that pretty much left to other devices?
It's really left to other devices, but the way we do tackle that is we want to give students the tools to get to college and through college in 4 years. That's one of the reasons that we created it, aside from helping students figure out their purpose and getting clear on their identity. If many people were able to answer some of the questions that we ask or use some of the resources we had, we feel they may have graduated a little bit sooner because they would have been a little bit more aware of some of the issues or some of the roadblocks that might happen to them a little later in their college career. And again, you know, in talking to many deans of students and vice presidents of student affairs, I've often asked, you know, what is the challenge at your school and why aren't students graduating in 4 years? And some of the common responses I get are, you know, students change their major multiple times. Once they do figure out their major, classes aren't always available to fulfill that major, and then students run out of money. And so if you can figure things out efficiently on time, your chances of graduating on time are a little bit higher.
Yeah, I hear the same thing, and you hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly right. Do you do any type of work, or is any of the trades incorporated into MyPath? Because the trades right now are hot.
Yes.
Everything is cyclical,
Right.
as you know. And
Totally.
Right now the trades are hot. Is that incorporated into this as well for someone who may want to follow that track?
Right. Well, we do offer resources to trade information.
Okay.
The identity path and the social path could apply to anything,
Right,
You can go
right.
straight to the job market, a
Right.
trade school. You don't have to go to college. The other thing that we have is, again, that better understanding of yourself might allow you or empower you to skip college.
Okay.
So we don't have anything specifically addressing,
Okay.
go to this trade or that trade, but we're working on content for a module around that.
Okay, got it. Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, I think it's a phenomenal tool. I wish I had it when I was going to school.
Me too.
But is there anything else you'd like to add that maybe we haven't covered, or anything that you think that's appropriate to what we're talking about?
Sure. I'd say one more thing is we have a partnership with a nonprofit that's based in San Francisco but is expanding nationally. And so every time you purchase a membership to MyPath 101, we donate a membership to this nonprofit.
And what is the nonprofit?
The nonprofit is called Beyond 12, and you can learn more about it at beyond12.org.
Okay.
And their mission and philosophy is similar to ours, and that's why we decided to partner with them for this one-for-one membership model. Their mission is to help students get to and through college, but the demographic they focus on is low-income students and students from first-generation students.
Okay. And you say they're starting to expand nationwide, or
Yes.
that's their focus?
Yeah, they absolutely are.
And they're out in West Coast?
They're based in San Francisco.
Okay.
They are a really hot nonprofit. They've gotten Gates Foundation funding, Facebook funding. So they've discovered and created a really good model to help their students. They work with sophomores and juniors in high school through sophomore year in college.
Awesome. We'll make sure we get that information up on the website too, or on the credits. But I'll tell you what, it's fantastic. I'd like to see more people utilize it. I think it's a great roadmap tool, and we'll see how it goes. I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll be right back.
So you've got a song about where to call for government information?
Check this out. We got the benefits and services that'll make you smile to get the answers you need. Put us on speed dial.
That is gold, Your Honor.
1-800-FIT-INFO. Oh!
Welcome back. I hope you found Rachel very entertaining and the MyPath 101 application useful. And if you have a chance, by all means, take a look at it. I want to thank you for viewing and joining us again. If you want to contact the program, you can do that. We have an email set up. It's Your Future, Your Choice at Outlook.com. So if you have any comments or questions, or just want to send an email to say hello, you can now do so. Again, it's Your Future, Your Choice at Outlook.com. Until next time, remember, it is your future and your choice. Thanks again for watching.